Whatever. Hi, welcome back to Whatever. I'm Dragon Pat,
I'm Alex Drake.
and we're your hosts on a trip through your magical mind. We are that virus that reaches out and says, hey, the truth is a virus. So, and today's topic is Book 2 in the Troy series by John Ringo, and that is Citadel. Now, Citadel opens up. We don't see our favorite character yet. Our favorite character being Tyler Vernon. Instead, we get introduced to a person whose call sign will become Comet. Comet is a female coxswain, although at first she's an engineer, and she is assigned to Troy, that citadel of death that built by one Tyler Vernon and the LFD Corporation, Live Free or Die. Now, preface: A, if you are not into political theory, this book is going to probably get your mind thinking in ways that it's not used to. Because John Ringo is, for all intents and purposes, a libertarian, although I'm not sure if he's even a member of that party. What he is, though, is an American patriot. Someone who believes in the ideals of that founded this country. And we're not talking critical race theory. We're talking freedom, liberty. So, what you have is one young lady who goes to school, joins the Navy, becomes a engineer for a ship, a small two-person fighter ship that also is a transport. And in the process, she gets basically signed over to become a coxswain, translation, pilot. And she's a pilot of this ship, and she gets her call sign because she rescues. They're taking these ships. She flies what is called a Myrmidon. The Myrmidon goes out and catches one of the big ships as the enemy is coming through the gate. They load all the passengers into the Myrmidon that they can fit, and she balls to the wall, brings it back to Troy. She's going so fast to get back that when they're going to close the huge doors, she would not be able to stop. So she basically balls to the walls, flies through, screams across the inner compartment, and saves all of them. Granted, they're beat up a little bit, but she gets the nickname Comet. Now, we were first introduced to Comet at the end of Live Free or Die. In the final battle with the Horvath, where the Troy basically beats the shit out of the Horvath,
Don't mess with it.
we see that screaming across. John Ringo brings her back and makes her the main character of the second book. Also, one of the primary characters of the third book. She's a Myrmidon pilot. She is badass. Comet is Comet. You get to see the story from the point of view of a simple fighter pilot. But because John Ringo is a very creative author, he also gives us Tyler Vernon again. Tyler Vernon, head of LFD, head of XYZ, JBJ, you name it, this man owns it. Tyler Vernon lives on the Troy because it's still under construction. At one point, we see Tyler Vernon standing on the top of his ship, which is basically a glorified Myrmidon with glass walls, and he's knocking golf balls around. Why? Because he's Tyler Vernon. Now, the other thing is you really start getting an idea of the AIs. The AI for Troy is...
I'm thinking.
Yeah, we'll wait until he remembers. Well, we'll continue. This AI, artificial intelligence, runs a lot of the parts of the Troy. and it fetches golf balls from Tyler Vernon. And at this scene, one of the scenes where this is happening, is Comet is standing in a room seeing him hitting golf balls. And the comment is made, that's not safe. And somebody says, but that's Tyler Vernon. And the ship basically is retrieving his golf balls for him. And that is something that that ship wouldn't do for anybody else. But that's Tyler Vernon. And you start seeing a beginning of a relationship. And it's hinted at in book 2. Now, book 2 also shows you the war. The Horvath who cry to their mentors. I don't remember the other guys. It's not the Glatoon. It's... well, one group's a bunch of squids, the other ones are not. And the Troy basically mops the crap out of people. It's just... it's the Death Star on steroids. The point is that all through this, you start seeing Tyler Vernon. You see Comet. You get a story of how they are trying to make the Earth safe by putting basically a Maginot Line on steroids. Okay, for those of you that don't follow history, the Maginot Line was an imaginary line that was put up during World War I that was supposed to be the line between the good guys and the bad guys. And it was fortified with a bunch of forts all along this line, and it didn't work so well in World War I. And here, this one works, because they just built the biggest fortress in the galaxy. Well, Tyler Vernon isn't happy with one. He's building a second one. They call that one the Thermopylae. The third one, by the way, is called Malta.
What is the guy's name? I can't remember.
Leonis is Thermopylae. Leonidas, after the Spartan general. What is Troy's?
Give me a second, I'm gonna go off screen and find out the name.
Okay, so you have Comet, and she shows you different aspects of the materialism and the actual physical aspects of the war. And she begins to interact with Tyler Vernon. Not a whole lot of interaction at the beginning, but the point is, all of this isn't a love story, is in the sense that, you know, two people fall in love and live happily ever after. No, because Tyler Vernon isn't about falling in love. Tyler Vernon is about making sure the Earth is safe. And you learn that Tyler Vernon now, my book 2, is so rich and so powerful that when the President of the United States wants to see him, the President makes an appointment. Tyler Vernon comes when Tyler Vernon wants to.
Argus.
No, Argus is not. Sorry, folks. Okay, some of the AIs. Argus. Argus is Tyler Vernon's personal AI, basically his secretary, at least to begin with. Later, part of his other job was to control all the mirrors. This basically starts messing with his head, and Argus gets demoted to becoming a personal assistant. You have Athena. Athena is the one in control of all traffic outside of directly of the ships and heading into Earth. You have Leonidas, who becomes the AI for the Troy. Not Troy, but Thermopylae. And he's still looking. The AI from the Troy book 2 as a overall book is kind of a bridge, it's continuing this story. It's showing you how Tyler Vernon is working. How he works with the Platoon, which is the good guys, who are a race that is on its way down. You have the Horvath and their associates, and I cannot remember the name of their associates right now. Basically, the galaxy, the strongest powers in the galaxies are out to get the Earth. And the only one that's willing to help isn't willing to do so much help. For example, the Myrmidon. Myrmidons are built as rescue ships. They have to basically use public relations standards to describe some of the things on the ship so that the factories that make them won't realize they're making armed weapons. Because the Platoon won't give them military rights. Not yet. Eventually, the Platoon give in, provide them with that, but that's book 3. So, book 2 as an overall Citadel, you have the Troy finally goes 100% online, and does not have all of its squadrons yet on board, but it's got all of its, quote, defenses are fully active now, and it basically beats the living crap out of things. All because this was Tyler Vernon's dream. Now, probably in the next episode, we'll tell you the name of the other AI. Either way, this episode is almost finished. Unless he comes up with something really quick, we'll have to bring it up in the next episode. Now, if you are into reading, this series is worth your time. You can find it on electronic publication. You can download it from Kindle. You can get it in hardback, paperback, and you can also get an audiobook version. I personally listen to the audiobook anytime I take any major trip because they're great books. John Ringo is one of my favorite authors. Not my all-time favorite. That's Robert Heinlein. But he's up there. He's in the top 5 right now. And Live Free or Die, which was the first book, followed by Citadel, really gives you an idea of how one man's dreams can become a reality that changes the universe. Any book that you read is good for you. Whether you like the book or not, it actually expands your mind. I'm a strong proponent of reading. One of the things that I get a little annoyed with Alex Drake over is he doesn't love to read. I've always loved to read. Now, if you like reading, like I said, these books are great because even Alex enjoyed them. So please, take the time, get the books, read them. Don't forget to pick up the third copy, the third book, which is Hot Gate. You'll enjoy it, and we'll be discussing Hot Gate on our next episode. Till then, I'm Dragon Pat. Alex Drake is over at the computer. You can't see him, can't hear him, because he's busy. But we'll be back in our next episode covering the final book of the Troy series. You guys have a great day. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Remember, that's the easiest way to help support us. If you'd actually like to support us, you can go ahead and send us money through this channel. We'd appreciate it. But the key thing you can do is to subscribe and get your friends to subscribe.